Yeah.
As he mentioned, Piaget is a pedagogue who created a theory about how, for example, that students learn most when they work together. Which means, for example, if you give a paper where they have to write nouns, for example, and instead of giving it to the teacher and the teacher correct them, they give it to their friends and then they correct their friend's paper. So thereby they learn to spot where the mistakes are. You know what I mean? So that's called peer-to-peer learning. So it's like correction, where you correct your the student that's sitting next to you, which is also effective for the teacher because then the teacher don't have to do the corrections. And the theory is that if the student themselves learn to correct, then it's easier for them to spot their own mistakes in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then there is a motivational approach, which is, as he mentioned, the guide on the side, which means that the students should be learning about something that they're interested in. So it's more easy to get the students to listen and to learn if it's something that interests them. So for example, instead of you always choosing the subject, then you can ask them, okay, today we have 3 options. We can do nouns, or we can do vocabulary, or like this. And then everybody has to raise their hand, and the thing that has the most votes.
And the time also. The morning time is better to teach harder things.
Yes.
And easier thing, better to teach evening time.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if they, for example, get the opportunity to say, oh, today I would like to learn about this because I know this is my weakness, then they will also listen more because they know, oh, I actually helped to choose what we're talking about today. They're not just coming into a classroom and they have to listen to something they don't want to, but if they are choosing, then they would like to learn. And then there's the student-involved teaching, which is to get the students also engaged, which is Vygotsky's theory, that groups and games will get them involved, which means that so the average student only has an attention span that's 20 minutes, which means they can only listen to somebody talk in 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, they need some other activity for them to like reset their mind, you know? So like, for example, every 20 minutes, it's very useful that if you teach them something, that they use it with their mouth. So for example, let's say you just taught them how might, may, could, should, and then you talk about this, la la la, and then after some time you say, okay, turn towards your friend sitting next to you and make 3 sentences with these words we just made. Because when you use the word, it also stays longer time in the brain. So not just listening, but also engaging with the words you just learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
really cool.
Points.
Yeah.
I think that's could improve the learning a lot, and also the engagement of the students, that they will be more eager to learn also.
Yeah. There are some names, Pedagogy, it is that words from other language, no?
No, yeah, it's a French person.
French?
Yes. It's a psychological theorist.
Yeah, peer-to-peer. It is that theory was introduced by him.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Guide on.
Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer correction.
A method of correction where other students in class correct the mistake rather than have the teacher correct it. It's useful in that means involving the whole class in the moment, and also allows the teacher to check it. So it also gives you some time not to do a lot of like papers like this, because I remember when I was sitting there and then all the girls, there were sitting like maybe 6 girls, and they asked me, oh, can you look at my mistakes? And it's better if they look at each other's mistakes. Because when I asked the students, I asked, I am go to school. And I asked the students, what is wrong with this sentence? Then somebody else than the one who wrote it will say, oh, it's I am going to school. So they know how to correct each other, but sometimes you will go blind of your own mistakes, you know? But it's easier to spot other people's mistakes. Yes, so that's a very good way. Yes.
Motivation laptop guide on the site is student involved teaching.
Yes.
Getting student engaged. Yeah, then via this theory, pedagogy, there are subtopics maybe.
Yeah, because pedagogy, the word pedagogy, means the theories, the methods, and the settings of a classroom, of teaching in general. Which means pedagogy, it's a big term like psychology. So it just means how you choose to conduct a class. Which means pedagogy is many things. There are many different theories in pedagogy.
Then there may be specific topics related to pedagogy and subtopics. Pedagogy of understanding students, the understanding of the students, understanding of the environment, and like that. There are so many sub theories maybe.
It's a little bit different because.
Then I didn't know about then the relationship. I didn't hear with the pedagogy the relationship with the teacher and student.
Yes.
And it may be sometime there may be something available in the pedagogy.
Yes. So that's what this theory about the guide on the side. It's about how. So basically. Basically, either there's a teacher standing, talking, blah blah blah, and the students head is just an empty head that you just with talking put your words down in their head.
Yeah, it's useless.
So that's a very old school approach. That's what they would do in France in the 1800s, where they would just say, don't sit still, shut up, I will talk and you shall listen. But now a more popular approach is that basically the teacher and the students are even. So the teacher is not some god and the students are not some slaves. Like this is the pedagogy of more. Also the teacher respects the students and therefore the motivational approach, which means that because the teacher also respects the students, then the teacher will take time to say, so today we have 3 different things you can learn about. Which one do you think is your biggest weakness? And then people will say, oh, I think my biggest weakness is pronouns.
Yeah, this is my first subject.
Yes.
Pedagogy. Then I joined with this degree program after one session.
Yes.
Then I didn't know how to write assignment related to that pedagogy.
Yes.
I want to send you what is they expect from it.
Yes.
Then you please advise me what type of thing I want to do the assignment and like that.
Yeah, I can do that.
And then second one I did it. Then I get a good feedback.
Yes.
Really. And then they asked me the second session. They asked me how to connect with keep relationship with the students.
Yes.
Like that. Then I noted. Then how do you use the experience of the class? The next class you have to enhance then you need to understand your folds from the class, and
Yes.
you have to study class by class. And
Yes.
I develop vastly class by class, and
Yes.
I experience the so many things that I get from internet, other class, other teachers, and
Yes.
like that. It is
Yes.
also really appreciated. And the third one is still going on. They asked me to do a research, and I'll send you
Yes.
what they expected like that. Only one class I joined, and two classes were then done, and then I want to that get support from the third one also. The time is available. I have ample time to do the
Yeah,
research,
okay.
and however I just want to know about the first one,
Yeah.
the research, and what do I do and like that.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. I think also, I don't know if you already do it, but also to start every class with repetition from your last class.
Yeah. I did it.
Yes.
And I did. And even I asked the students, you must know what we have done so far.
Yes.
Why? Then we have learned this. I know about this.
Yes.
You have learned this. I
Yeah.
know about that. Well, I have less knowledge about that.
Yes.
You need to understand every subject,
Yeah.
and what you. Then I do it.
Yeah,
I do it.
exactly.
I put I started the screen this part circle this lesson
Yeah.
this lesson
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
very good.
Yeah.
Also, you can start the class by saying, you talk to the friend sitting next to you, tell 5 things about what we learned last time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then the students don't, they also speak English right away. Because it's also the speaking that is really like...
Yeah. Then I
crucial, yes.
can ask a student, you should tell what you have learned so far.
Exactly. But maybe so far it's too big.
Yeah.
So maybe
And-
just say last class.
Last class.
Yeah. 5 things you learned in
Yeah.
last class. Because if you say so far, they're like, so much, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's a good idea to start.
Then so far mean I summarize them.
Yeah.
Then it is easier to understand
Yeah.
this part, and this part like
Do
that.
you also like, do they raise their hand sometimes?
Yeah. I ask one by one, and I
Yeah.
ask them to raise hand.
Because you could...
And I did that.
Yeah.
I asked the correct other students.
Yes.
Even in the message program,
Yeah.
I give all message. You must read everybody's message.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And also, like for example, starting the class, you don't say anything, you don't summarize, you just ask them.
To summarize.
Exactly. So they talk to your friend, say 5 things you learned from last time, and then maybe 10 minutes after this, 5 minutes, and then you ask, okay, raise your hand and tell me what we learned last time.
Yeah.
Instead of you telling them, they tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they will get to think way more
Yeah.
like this.
Instead of saying me,
Yes.
better to get them.
Exactly. Yes, that's very good learning approach. Very good pedagogy. This one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.